All that seems to be on my mind is hustling. I just wanna touch a onion. She just want a couple hundred. I got mad and changed the subject. Then I got drunk and said fuck it.
What up? It's your boy Cardinal Red, and we back for some more of that Ali Land Daily Boxing Talk, people. And today we talking Errol Spence Jr. Pacquiao is too old to beat me. Alright, y'all. So, we just saw Errol Spence take on Danny Garcia. Pretty much dominated him the whole fight. And now the question is being raised, who is going to be Errol Spence Jr.'s next fight in 2021? He said he doesn't want to get back into the ring until summertime of next year. And we all know Manny Pacquiao seeking an opponent for hopefully the beginning of 2021, but perhaps maybe the middle, springtime, maybe even the summertime of 2021 before we'll see Pacquiao fight again. A lot of politics going on in the Philippines right now, so Pacquiao's plate's pretty full. He does have his WBA mandatory, and I hope I said the right one. It might be the WBO, but I think it's the WBA mandatory that he's supposed to face. We don't know if it's going to be you guys, if it's going to be Mikey. Might be a surprise opponent. We don't know yet. But I'm hoping he chooses to fight Errol Spence Jr. at some point in 2021. And let's address this issue. Is Manny Pacquiao at this point in his career too old to beat the two top guns at welterweight behind himself, which is Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Bud Crawford? And specifically speaking about Errol Spence Jr., from what I saw, Errol Spence Jr. has a lot of talent, man. You can't deny that. Even if you're not an Errol Spence fan, you can't sit here and say that Spence doesn't possess every attribute that a boxer should have, when he's at this level. He has enough speed to deliver power at the right times. He has enough ring IQ to not get hit when he doesn't need to get hit. And he has enough defense to keep his opponent on his toes and thinking the whole fight, which is what you basically saw Danny Garcia doing. He was thinking and not fighting during that fight. He and his father's kind of turned on him. If you've been keeping up with the antics surrounding Danny Garcia. But as far as Manny Pacquiao versus Errol Spence goes, man, this is how I see it playing out personally. There's a lot of questions to be answered as far as Manny Pacquiao. We haven't seen him in the ring in over a year, leaning on a year and a half, man. And I think the big question will be is what version of Pacquiao are we going to get? Could we possibly see a revised Pacquiao, being that he had the shoulder surgery? He took off maybe like 8 months before he fought Thurman and came back, had a great showing versus Keith Thurman. Perhaps, this long layoff actually helps him because it's giving his shoulder even more time to heal, and it's giving his body a chance to recover because I know a lot of people say you got ring rust when you take long layoffs, but one thing that you gain from taking a long layoff is your body hasn't taken punishment in a long time. Now that could be a good or it could be a bad thing. It could be a good thing because when you get in the ring and you get hit, it's not going to affect you as much as if you've been fighting every 3 or 4 months, and it could be a bad thing because you can get in the ring and get hit and not expect it because you haven't been fighting in a year and a half, unlike fighters that have been active, like I said, for 2 to 3 months. A lot of fighters fight every 2 to 3 months. So it's a double-edged sword when you look at it. But I think Pacquiao, if he comes in with the same game plan that he had when he fought Margarito, I think he has a great chance of defeating Errol Spence. If I was him, I wouldn't seek a knockout. It would be more of a cumulative effect with him just battering Spence with punches the whole fight, sort of like what he did to Cotto and Margarito. Just staying on top of him, staying active, using speed, using angles, using great footwork to keep Spence on his toes. And if you notice when you watch Spence fight, and he even said it, that he had some cobwebs he was trying to shake off, and he wasn't 100%. He gave himself a B- for that fight. And if he comes in at a B- versus an A+ Pacquiao, it's going to be lights out for Spence. And you can tell he still has a few things he could work on as far as his throwing looping punches, and putting his hands down. I think he dropped his hands a few times during the Danny Garcia fight, and Garcia was able to catch him with some pretty stunning punches. A couple of times he almost knocked him down. So, a fighter like Pacquiao, he's going to really, really take advantage of that. Is age going to play a factor in this fight if it actually comes to fruition? Of course, age is always going to be a factor when you have one guy who's nearly 15 years older than the other guy, so, but like I said, it's a double-edged sword all the way around when you look at this fight. Pacquiao, yes, he is 15 years older than Spence, but that's 15 years worth of experience that he has that Spence doesn't have. Spence, is coming off a car accident. Maybe that, from what we saw, the car accident, it didn't affect him at all, so I don't think Pacquiao can really use that as an advantage. Maybe Pacquiao has more punching power, and when he hits Spence, it might have more of an effect on Spence than Danny's punches did, but we would have to see these guys get in the ring to find this out, man. I think it's an exciting time for boxing at this moment, man, because as a fan, we could get some of the greatest fights that we've seen in the past 10 years. We got a lot of guys that want to put on exhibitions, and that's nothing wrong with making money and trying to stay active and trying to stay in shape. But I just feel like some of these guys, man, they're just making boxing look really bad, and they're just chasing a dollar. But when you got guys like Pacquiao, who 40 plus years old, who's still willing to mix it up with the top fighters of the day. And if you're going to get in the boxing ring, man, you got to be willing to throw down. You know what I'm saying? To me, you got to be willing to throw down and throw down with the best of them, or just bow out of the sport, man, because you're wasting my time as a fan, and you're wasting your time just doing lollipop fights or cupcake fights or cherry picks. Ain't no need for that no more, man. It's time to move on with the sport of boxing and start giving fans what they want, man. Let me know what y'all think down in the comment section. Is Pacquiao too old to beat Errol Spence? Is this fight, a farce? Should Pacquiao be fighting Errol Spence? And as always, believe in yourself, follow your dreams. It's your boy Cardinal Red, and we are out of here.
Niggas know what's up. I pull up with a throwback dime. She say she's 25, she at least 29. But man, them hips on her, lips on her, finna let it rip on her, flip on her, then dip on her. This is for them classy chicks, them undercover nasty chicks, them trashy chicks. Ain't scared to flash me quick. Oh, look at that ass, she thick. I